Namaskar everyone. Welcome to Dating the Data. We do a bunch of data stuff around here, and this is episode 3 of our series on Spark and Scala. Last time we saw numeric data types in Scala. Today we are going to see non-numeric data types in Scala, which are strings and char, short for character. So without further ado, let's get started. So continuing on the same Scala documentation that we were looking at last time, we are going to see these two today, string and char. Char is for a single character and strings are obviously multi-character. So let's see those in action. And let's call it val s equals to so whenever you have something in double quotes like that, Scala considered it to be a string, and since it saw a string, it inferred it to be a string type like so. And let's say val c equals to, let's give a single character d. You see how it still recognized it as string even though I gave it just one single character? It was because of the double quotes. Like I said, anything in a double quote is a string, even though it's a single character, even though it's a number. Anything enclosed within double quotes is a string for Scala. And if I want Scala to recognize something as a character data type, I will have to give it in a single quotes. So if I give the exact same thing in a single quote, it will recognize it as a character. Alright, so this is the power of type inference. Moving on. Next we have is again strings. So yeah, I think the same thing is explained here in this portion, so I will not be covering that. Let's go ahead and look at something called as string interpolation. Now, the word interpolation literally means inserting something into your text. So what we are doing is, we saw how we printed out hello world, right? Print and then hello world. All right. This is a normal string that you're trying to print out. But if you were to insert something, then that would be called as string interpolation. What I mean by inserting something, what might you insert? You might insert a variable inside it, right? So for example, we made a bunch of variables up there. So let's just call one of them variable. Let's just say A is. Now in the example we can see that they have used dollar, right, to call the variable. So dollar is an indication for the compiler that this is where my variable name is starting, so beware. So this is not a we are telling the compiler that this is not a normal string, it's a variable, right? So let's call it A. But it did not recognize it yet because we did not tell the compiler. We told the compiler that this is a variable, but we did not tell the compiler that it has to interpolate the string, it has to translate it, right? So for that we need this special little character of s in the beginning of the string. So this is how it will interpolate it. This is how we told it you have to interpolate this string, and this is where my variable name starts. All right, so this is the string interpolation. So again, a bunch of stuff we can do with the string interpolation. We can call our variable b as well, and the value shows up here, and like so you can, this is a very powerful tool again when you are using it in your programming on your projects, right? Okay, moving on. So the next portion deals with something called as expressions in Scala. Expressions are something that can be evaluated, something that generates a value. So before we go into the examples, let's just quickly see those in action. So if I go here and if I say 2 plus 2, now this is an expression. Why? Because the Scala compiler can evaluate it. It generates a value. What I mean by that, I'm going to hit enter and we can see that the compiler evaluated this and generated this value 4. That's why this is an expression. And you can also enclose your expression into braces. It's a kind of a good practice, creates a boundary, makes it more readable. So you can do that as well. So this is how the expressions are. We will definitely dive deeper into those, but for now let's just see how these work with string interpolation. So we see a bunch of so I'm just gonna copy things from here, and that's it. So in the context of string interpolation, these curly braces have a slightly different meaning. So we know what this S means, we know what this dollar means. Now these curly braces mean that it's an indication for the compiler that this is where my expression starts and this is where my expression ends. So it's the expression boundary that you're indicating to the compiler. Now if I hit enter over here, the compiler evaluates my expression into a value. So it will not print 2 plus 2 here, it will instead give you the value 4, right? And this was about expressions. So instead of using like numbers or literal numbers, you can also use the variables that you had declared before. So let's just use our variable b, remember it from the previous one. Before that, let's just call it, just see what it has. So it has a value of 30. So let's just say println 20 plus 30 is dollar, because it's the start of a variable. Now braces, because we are going to give it an expression which will be b plus 20, because b is 30, and another number 20. Another interesting thing that you are seeing here is that we did not give a dollar to b, because it's already gonna get evaluated because of this dollar. So you don't need to give it again inside of your expression boundary. And I'm gonna complete the quotes and the parentheses over here and hit enter. Why did that happen? Any clue? Actually, we did not tell the compiler to interpolate this string. So this is how it evaluates your your variable and a value and your expression, the entire thing, it will evaluate it to 50. So this is how expression work with your string interpolation, right? So that was about expressions. Moving on, the next topic is multi-line strings. So multi-line strings, you can give those with these triple quotes. It makes the compiler aware that this is a multi-line string. So I'm just going to copy the text from here and paste it over onto our little terminal. See how you can paste a multi-line code over here? Scala is nice that way, right? So yeah, it gave, it recognized it as string, type inference again, and it created a value which has a multi-line string that as its value. Alright, so this was all about strings in Scala, and this is all for today. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.